It's day 102 of the Travel Agency New Year podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay. If you've been watching the last few days, please, like on YouTube, why are you even watching this? First of all, uh, I've had to move from where I normally record for tech reasons. It's pretty annoying. So I don't know how long this boring prison cell wall with the tiny globe in the corner setup is going to be, but whatever. This is actually where I work. This is where the magic happens. Day 102, sincerity versus authenticity. What are you practicing and which one do you want to actually implement? And should you do both or what's going on here? What? It's very confusing. And authenticity is a term that is thrown around way too much without the explanation behind it. So I'm here to talk about it. Why am I talking about this? This was a big part of my bachelor's degree was communication and leadership and psychology and reflecting on your values and da 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 and how it affects business, right? Authenticity is not the end all be all. And it is definitely a buzzword, and most people don't understand what it means. And it can lead to both sincerity and authenticity. If you don't have a good balance of them, will lead to super toxic versions of yourselves. Okay. And let's see. I have to, yeah, I had to change this episode around. So I went on a tangent. I'm like, no, this is about sincerity versus authenticity. Okay. Yesterday, I was talking about networking and not to approach it with a what's in it for me mindset. It should be more like, what's in it for you? How can I help you? Right? Networking or contacting past clients, like even just calling past clients, should never have a focus of you making more money, you getting more bookings and sales. Remember a couple days ago? Nope. Nope. I'm confusing. I've been recording a lot of content today. This is the lesson in the success circle. Detach from the outcome means you cannot be worried about not making money and you cannot be concerned about making all the money. You are being you. Okay. Approach with sincerity. It is not authenticity. Authenticity is being what you are. Sincerity is saying what you mean. Different things. Okay. Authenticity is focused on the inward and the self. It is about you being you. It is living free from pretense and reflecting on yourself and living with integrity aligned with your values. That is you being you. Okay. Sincerity is honest communication directed outwards towards others. There are vices. If you are too sincere all the time because you're focused on being honest outwardly towards others, you can start to spiral into self pity. If you are too obsessed with being authentic and I've got to stick to my true self, that can spiral into very narcissistic behaviors. Be careful with both. Sincerity is what builds the social connections, and authenticity is for your own personal mental health and your meaning of life. So when you hear the whole be authentic, authenticity is king, like they're telling you focus only on you, right? Like you have to have a balance of both. But understand authenticity is about your life, your values, and your mental health. It is not about being an honest communicator. You can be authentic and insincere. You can also be sincere and inauthentic. Hence the vices that develop. Okay. Authenticity and being insincere. What the heck does that look like? That is telling lies that feels true to you. Okay. I'm being authentic to myself. I feel like the sky is green and I'm being authentic to myself. Well, you're telling a not truth. It is blue. Or I feel like 1 + 1 is 6. That is not true. Well, I'm being true to myself. Okay, but that's insincere communication. You are misleading others. Just because you feel that way, great. Good for you for being authentic. And also, you're being insincere. Okay. Being insincere, oops, sorry, being sincere and inauthentic at the same time, this looks more like social masking. This is more like you are afraid to express, or like you don't want to really understand your values or where you are with your mental health. And you're more concerned, you don't really concern yourself with your own meaning of life. You concern yourself with like getting other people to validate you. So social masking. You adapt to certain situations because you are too scared to be yourself, and you can still spit facts. You can still be like 1 + 1 is 2, but maybe you're not going to do it with as much, what is the word? Veracity? Maybe the word I'm looking for. Mayhaps. I don't know. Correct me in the comments. Is it veracity? What is the definition of veracity? Comment below. Ugh. All right. So there's this book. Here's another book rec. Sincerity and Authenticity by Lionel Trilling. And here's a synopsis that someone else provided because I read this book way too long ago. In case you're still like, I'm confused as fuck, Rachel. Sincerity is what you shoot for in a trusting society. You try to live honestly and straightforwardly into your social roles and relationships. Authenticity is what you shoot for in a distrustful society. You try to liberate your own personality by rebelling against the world around you, by aggressively fighting against the society that you find so vicious and corrupt. That's the thesis of this book. And to give you an idea of the difference between sincerity versus authenticity. What I'm trying to say here is be sincere in your communication, know who you are, and be your authentic self. Do both. If you are excessively one or the other, you're either distrustful society or you're throwing around buzzwords. Okay. Without any proper understanding. All right. So that's sincerity versus authenticity. Maybe monitor how you're communicating with people. Are you really being yourself and being honest at the same time and communicating honestly with that? So I did struggle with this back when I was struggling with my boundaries and people pleasing. I feel like being sincere and inauthentic also leads to like people pleasing, codependency tendencies. Because I relate way more to being inauthentic out of fear of not being approved by society than the other way around, where I'm like, you have to accept me for who I am. Sorry to say it that way. And I know, like, I don't want any confusing connotations made. Anyway, but I remember I would be so honest, but I was afraid to assert myself and be like, this is where my job ends. So I was being sincere. I was not sticking to my own values. And I was like bending over backwards and it was destroying my mental health. And I was like spiraling to self pity. I'm like, well, nobody cares about me. I have to do everything for everyone else. So that's kind of like the inauthenticity while attempting to be sincere at the same time, how that can happen. I got no advice for the other side. Okay. Day 102 has come to a conclusion. This was a short episode. Go pick up that book if you want. Sincerity and Authenticity. Maybe you'd find something helpful. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe not read it. I don't care. Who do you? Yeah. Have a great day, and I will be here tomorrow. Subscribe for daily notifications every day. Only for a year though. Maybe 262 days, 63 days. Only 263 more days. Bye bye.